Temi and Yomi Lowery, the first siblings that we've ever had on the podcast. Good to have you on, boys.
Thank you
Thanks.
for inviting us, mate.
Yeah,
Thank
it's
you
a pleasure
for
to be
joining
here,
us.
bro.
So, for the people who don't know who you are, the very few, can you explain to our audience what is it that you guys do?
So obviously we're both brothers and we've got this business together. So it's really good having obviously your brother as your business partner because, as the Tates say, like who else am I gonna trust if not my brother to run my business with me?
You can't beat it, really. Especially now since we've implemented our like morning chats and that. Like every morning we have a call at 8:30, just a battle plan of the day, essentially. And it's like I wouldn't want to be speaking to some like guy. You might have had a business owner 5 years ago that was your friend back then, but we're always going to be brothers, essentially.
So what was kind of like the start in terms of, was it one of you that first started getting into it? Did you start at the same time, or how did it kind of resonate at the beginning?
So Alpha Set is the business that we run now. So our business is we train appointment setters and then we also build sales teams for online businesses. How that started is I've actually been in sales for ages. I've got into sales when I was in college. Been doing sales for 5 years since I was 17.
So, were you doing that when you were actually studying at college?
I was barely studying at college. But while I was studying at college, I was just doing door-to-door sales full time.
No, that's mad.
So when COVID hit, obviously like every single person our age, I was trying to make money online.
Yeah,
and that's when I got into online sales. 2 years ago now, that's when I started Alpha Setters. At first, Yomi didn't have a clue what was going on. Like Yomi could not comprehend the idea of making money online. He'd never tried anything.
Yeah.
He'd never been through courses.
So obviously, like I'm like what 2.5 years younger. So me is like when he was doing all this like in college. So he was a couple of years older than me. I was just grinding Fortnite. I was grinding
It's
Fortnite.
a big difference at
Bro,
that time.
yeah,
though.
like, I feel
When
like-
you're at
yeah.
School every
Yeah.
year is so.
Yeah. And we didn't, especially when we was younger, we didn't speak to each other at all. So it was like I'd see him in the kitchen or whatever grinding away, and I was like, "Oh, this guy's an idiot." This guy's an idiot. Like, and I was like playing football at a decent level. I didn't really making money online was like not a thing for me. I always had the mindset I was like, I don't want to work in 9 to 5, but I never really, I didn't make it happen at that point. And I wasn't thinking about it, right? So when I saw him actually start doing something, I was like, I don't believe you can actually make when you first made your money. You can talk about that in a bit. I was like, what the hell, really? You know what I mean?
Show the stripe.
Literally showed him the PayPal receipts, and he was like, "Oh, mad,
Bro, I
Mind
bet that
blown.
PayPal account does not exist anymore.
It doesn't."
No one
Oh
has
God!
PayPal.
Don't even get me started on the rant about PayPal. But you know, so a lot of our audience are kind of trying to get into like the whole online money scene, or just curious about it. For anyone that doesn't know, what actually is appointment setting?
It's literally just sales.
Yeah.
I always explain appointment setting in a way. It's not some mad thing. You're not doing something crazy. You're not starting a business.
Yeah.
You're not living this crazy laptop lifestyle. It's literally just sales. You're just working for all of these like online coaches, these influencers, these agency owners. They all need someone to manage their DMs. They all need someone to take their phone calls for them. That's what you're doing as an appointment setter.
Yeah.
You're just handling the sales for them, and you're just getting paid on commission based on the sales that you make.
I think one thing for me is that when I was, hearing about you doing dropshipping, copywriting, they all sounded a bit mad to me. My 15-year-old brain, like 16-year-old grinding Fortnite, that sounded mad to me. Whereas like when he actually sat down and explained appointment setting to me, I was like, oh, that actually makes hella sense. That makes hella sense. And I feel like for a lot of people as well, like coming in who reach out to us, it's the same thing. They might have tried other things, but appointment setting, it's simple on the face level of things. Looking at appointment setting and explaining what it is, it's really easy to understand. It might not be easy to actually be good at appointment setting, but it's easy to understand the principles of it, right?
Yeah. I mean, dude, I'm a copywriter, and I feel like only like 3 months ago did I actually understand what writing copy, like what the purpose of it actually was. And like whenever I'd explain it to people, they'd be like, so what do you actually do? And I'd be like, well, anything that a business has that needs writing, I write it.
Yeah.
Like website, emails, whatever. And even then it still seems like you were saying, too simple. Like with appointment setting, it's like, yeah, we book prospects in for a phone call. Like that's all we do. But it's simple. That doesn't mean it's easy.
Yeah, all the time. Like people when I first got on a call with someone or they reach out to me, I'm like, listen, appointment setting sounds super simple, doesn't it? You send a message on your phone. If you tell one of your friends right now, someone that's like not in the online space, appointment setting, you send a message on Instagram, and be like, oh, well, that's the easy money. How are people making 10K in that? It sounds ridiculous. But you actually get to the nitty gritty of it. Sales in a general, human psychology of it, there's more to it than just send a message on Instagram, innit?
So even before the appointment setting, when you were at college doing door-to-door, why door-to-door in the first place? Because most people when they're at college, like I worked in a warehouse, you know what I mean? Just for a bit of extra change. Like, what got you into door-to-door?
So I had my first job when I was 16, at a warehouse, £4.20 an hour, and it was like the most depressing thing ever.
Yeah.
That's rough.
Like
It's-
literally came home from work every day and just wanted to die. So I quit that because it was just I was getting paid peanuts,
Yeah.
and it was just horrible. And I was just trying to find a job, couldn't find a job anywhere. I was applying for things like McDonald's. I got rejected by McDonald's 5 times.
The younger brother got it.
Got the job at McDonald's. I was just applying for bare jobs online, and I was like,
Yeah, yeah,
what's
yeah.
wrong with me? Why can't I get a job? And I got into door-to-door sales. It was pure coincidence. I was in the smoking area of Victoria Shopping Centre in Nottingham, and my friend asked this girl for a lighter. We just started talking to this girl, and she worked in recruitment for door-to-door sales. She didn't say it was door-to-door sales.
Yeah.
She said it was like marketing or something along those lines. Like made it sound like real
The
good.
way
she
they
come and
rope you in.
Yeah, exactly. Wrote me in because she obviously got paid for recruiting us.
Yeah.
I went into for an interview. Weirdest thing ever. So I sat down. I went into for the interviews. This beat down office. The manager there was just this fat Irish guy. He was wearing a suit and a snapback cap, 2 slits in each eyebrows, and a full set of platinum teeth. And I was like, well, what is this? Like, what the fuck have I just got myself into?
Sounds like door-to-door sales.
And he's like, you're the kickboxer, innit? I was like, yeah, that's me. He was like, take off your blazer. I was wearing my suit, took on my blazer, and he just stood up and just started punching me.
Really?
He started punching me. And we were just like sort of like play fighting with this manager. He was like, you've got the job anyway. I don't need to
Yeah,
interview
I
you.
want you.
You're a kickboxer. I know you're going to fight for me. And that's how I got the job in door-to-door sales. Obviously, I thought this was marketing. I got into this not expecting to be doing door-to-door sales. First day, I start knocking doors. I was super shy, super awkward. But I sort of got sold on how valuable this would be for me
Yeah.
to build my skill set.
Was it commission only door-to-door?
It was
then?
commission only, yeah.
What were you selling?
Windows and doors.
Wow.
Most expensive windows and
In
doors
Nottingham
in the UK.
as well, bro. That will have been
Yeah.
graft.
It was graft, mate. 17-year-old Temi, some black kid knocking on your door on a Saturday morning. I was super shy, super awkward,
Yeah.
but I genuinely loved it. Like, I loved it straight away.
So how did you kind of make that transition? Obviously, you started appointment setting, but like, what was the first offer that you got on?
So the first offer that I did, remote appointment setting. So obviously back in the day when I was doing door-to-door, I wasn't selling the windows and doors. You can't sell a 12 grand home improvement package from just knocking on someone's door. It was a 2-step process. I'd book the appointment with the closer. The closer would drive around and close it. Then I started doing home improvement, similar offer, windows, doors, garage doors. I was doing phone setting, just calling leads, booking them in for an appointment. After COVID, however, when we got into like this online high ticket sales space, the first offer that I was setting for, I found it so easy compared to the windows and doors. It was a creative and distribution agency back when like the E-Mans was popping off from like, all of the clip accounts. That's what I was selling.
Oh, so it was like people who would go over like your podcasts and stuff and distribute it.
Just create bare accounts.
Oh, all the little clippers and that. Yeah.
Because it was such like a new thing.
Yeah, 100%.
And it was going crazy. It was like the easiest thing ever. I was just doing cold outbound.
People with personal brands and stuff. Did you have to
Exactly.
go and find them?
Yeah, I didn't have a lead list.
Yeah.
Or anything like that. But because there's just creators everywhere, it was so easy.
Yeah, just go on who they follow, find everyone verified, bang, bang, bang.
I'd literally just type in like podcast or streamer or gamer or something like that on Instagram. I'd outreach to all those people and I'd go through all the people that they're following. Because a podcaster or a streamer, all their friends are streamers. So I just message all their friends. It was the easiest thing in the world.
Like outreach is obviously such a massively important thing with everything nowadays. Would you say the door-to-door sales gave you that kind of massive boost in confidence just to straight up message everyone and be like, this is what I'm doing? But because I feel like a lot of people at the start, that's the thing that people kind of struggle with, just having the confidence to even outreach in the first place. I don't know if that was something for you or through doing the door-to-door kind of just straight hopped in there.
100%. I mean, doing outreach, knocking on doors is one thing. When I'm sat in the comfort of my own home, just sending messages
It's
on
a lot
Instagram,
nicer, isn't it?
like, just kind of, it doesn't even feel like a real job.
Yeah,
Just sending messages.
Can you remember like a pinpoint moment when you were kind of like, right, this is what I'm going to do now? Because obviously you've done a bit of door-to-door, you've gone into the online stuff, but when was it like, might have been like the first paycheck or something when you were like, right, this is the thing?
Yeah, so funny story. You know
Yeah, I remember this exact story. Yeah.
We used to work at Nando's together. We used to actually work at Nando's. So after COVID died down a little bit, got a job at Nando's straight away. Both of us was working together, which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Working the same
yeah.
job.
As
as
far as like a no base requirement, like no entry level job, Nando's is pretty chill.
Was
Yeah,
it front of house or
100%.
back of
Back
house?
house, grilling up like a barbecue. Bro.
It was just the tag team on the barbecue. It was messing it up. We were sick at Nando's. So we was working at Nando's, and I was doing the appointment setting, the remote appointment setting. Literally signed my first client, this creative and distribution agency, within 3 days from just doing it by myself. And literally, as soon as I made my first commission on day 5, I literally handed in my notice. It was 50 quid, £50 commission, and
Really?
I literally handed in my notice and quit.
So how long ago was this then? For a kind of time,
This is like 3 years ago now. This is like 2021.
you just went into it super fast as well, then, didn't you? I feel like we've had that with a few people as well. I feel like that's the main thing. You've got to jump straight into it as soon as you see that kind of like leap of like, wow, this could actually happen.
Yeah.
You've got to go head in.
And I remember that was the same time he did that. So the 5 days, and you quit. This is where I came into. You remember came into the office, and we sat down, and like you was explaining to me like what was happening, and I was like, wait, what? What the hell? And do you remember the game plan of like starting alpha setters and that?
Yeah.
And I was like, what? Crazy. Like you actually gonna get people to pay you? Like what? How's that gonna work? Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. The way I see it is like if as soon as I made my first commission, that was proof that I could make this work. I'd received money, my first ever money that I'd made online, and I was like, oh well, I've just made £50. It's been a week. I know for a fact, because this is commission, because I'm willing to just work hard and just fight.
Yeah.
Had a lot of savings to fall back on. Worst case scenario, what? And get a job at Nando's again?
Yeah, 100%.
Bro, it's
just went on.
getting that first payment is the best feeling ever. Like I remember when I signed my first copywriting client, 3 emails a week, 1.2. I ran downstairs and I was like running around my kitchen table, like grabbed my mum. I was like, yes, it's just such a good feeling.
Yeah.
But
There's no better feeling.
I think that's the like blockade, and the people for people that have never made money online. That's like for someone like myself. Even if I'd made like £10 or something, like because back in the day when I was like 15, whatever, I used to do reselling. But that's like physical products, isn't it?
Yeah.
You're selling, buying and selling shoes. Whereas like for me, seeing the only people you see online making money are these guys in Dubai popping bottles, or you know what I mean, the crazy guys in America, super unique guys. And to me, that didn't relate. But it was like I see my brother actually making money. I was like, all right, okay, this can work. You know what I mean?
like you realize that it's not this whole fancy like the lifestyle, the content and stuff. It's literally just an exchange of value to get paid.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
when you break it down to that simple, especially with selling as well. Like I feel like I love being a copywriter because I know that marketing and sales are two things that are just are like they're just in every business. Like every business needs marketing and every business needs sales. So I feel safe with my ability to do something because I know that it's a skill. It's not like a business model.
Yeah, exactly.
You guys probably feel the same with sales because
100%.
I saw a clip that you said and it's so true. It's just like whenever the next trend pops up or whenever, TikTok shop drop shipping or whatever, you don't have to go and do TikTok shop or you don't need to go and drop ship. You're just going to sell for them.
Yeah. Even what you say, like if you go to any country in the world and like you lose everything, you've got the ability to sell. And once you know how to sell, you can transition that into any business. I could go work in like a barbershop or something and start selling. Like there's any industry I can go into, and because I know sales, there'll always be a job opportunity for me somewhere. Do you know what I mean?
Like that. Do you know the series that Grant Cardone did? It was like Undercover Billionaire.
Yeah.
And they like dropped him in the middle of fucking nowhere, made him shave his head and stuff.
Yeah,
And the dude's there in this like old parking lot buying and selling cars from these guys. And I swear pretty sure COVID hit, but he smashed it, didn't he?
It's the coolest series ever.
He
I
ended up
love
getting
it.
to like 200K or something, didn't he?
Bro, he did Mills.
Did he?
He did Mills, yeah.
That guy's such a
Super
G.
mental.
OG internet marketer.
From like a young person's perspective, then obviously everyone's kind of got a different take on this. If obviously you did your door-to-door sales, but for anyone who just wants to get their foot in sales, learn a little bit, what would you say is like the best way to do so?
So obviously everything we do right now, like currently 2024, is all online. We do completely online selling. But I truly think that in-person sales can't be replicated. Online sales is still a great skill to learn. That's where the future is. That's where you've got the most leverage. But I don't think I would have learned as much about sales if I didn't start in door-to-door.
Yeah, 100%.
It's so easy to get a commission-only sales role. It could be an SDR, you can get to door-to-door sales, you can do pop-up stands. There's so many opportunities to get into sales. Just got to be willing to put that bet on yourself because it's uncomfortable getting paid commissions.
100%.
But as long as you believe in yourself and you understand that it's not even about the money, it's just about the skills that you're developing, right?
One thing I always say is that with sales, it's something where you need to actually have the want to do it. You can't just go into sales with a mindset that's like, oh, I want to just make money. Because it's like, if you don't have that killer mindset where it's like, I want to make commissions, I want to be better than yesterday, then you're just going to plateau at some point. At some point, even if you're decent to start with, if you don't have that hunger to do better than yesterday, you're gonna plateau and start seeing, you're gonna reach a cap where it's like, oh, well, now I've earned as much commission as I can earn. Do you know what I mean? Unless you have that drive inside of you.
So I feel like a lot of people, like when I think about this, I think about like my mum and my grandparents and stuff. They have this stigma around sales, and they think of like old car salesmen who wouldn't let you leave the dealership unless you bought the car. You know what I mean? How do you guys? What's your kind of selling style? How do you guys like to sell?
It's funny that you say that, because when I got into door-to-door sales, my mum was trying to convince me to quit every day.
Yeah.
She literally hated the fact that I was doing door-to-door sales. Again, people have got this stigma around sales. Not all salesmen have to be these sleazy, like high-pressure sales guys. In fact, actually, I don't think that's a good way about going about it at all. I think the best way to sell is learning to sell according to your personality.
Yeah.
And also just trying to be as genuine as possible. It's just people interactions.
Being a personable person, isn't it, really?
One thing I found after doing closing for a while now is that when I first started closing, I was trying to replicate other people's closing methods, and it was like, yeah, I was doing all right, but as soon as I started adding my personality to it and actually being myself, that's when I saw the best results, because I'm quite a charismatic person anyway. So if I just implement my personality onto the sales calls and apply to someone's human nature into the conversation, that's where you're going to get a better conversion rate.
Yeah. I saw a clip of yours when you said that sales is about understanding, and I quite like that, because you've got to think, like, especially with like these online businesses, we're all fucking using quote unquote, but like everyone who's there, like if they've opted into the funnel or whatever, or if they've DM'd or they've gotten in touch or something, they want what you've got. Like they wouldn't send you a message for no reason. They might not be like a qualified lead or whatever, but if you can really understand, you know, why is this person interested in the thing that we're offering? Like, how can we actually help them? That's when I've seen like the sales teams that I've seen in some of the companies that I work in just excel, because they go to understand the person rather than being like, closing call at 2:30. I'm gonna collect cash and get my commission.
Do you know what it is? It's some people go to a sales call and they think it's 100% focused on the commission. They're 100% focused on the commission, 100% on closing this deal. I go into a sales call not thinking, oh, I want 100%. How can I help this person? If I've got something that can genuinely help this person, I want to help them. I want to do the value exchange in terms of getting them to where they want to be. Not everybody can be sold to. It's as simple as that. And that's like the stigma with the high pressure salesman, where they're trying to sell to people who don't want to be sold to or can't be sold to. That's kind of why people get that stigma.
Yeah.
I think that whole kind of like use your own personality to your advantage is quite slept on nowadays as well, especially with all like obviously social media and that. Everyone's kind of trying to be exactly like this person or that person, and there's not much stuff done like in real life anymore. Obviously, like you got your experience doing the door-to-door sales, which is really great because it gives you that confidence in yourself as a person rather than trying to like clone the way that somebody else sells to someone, which is what you might accidentally end up doing if you just start straight away kind of on the phone.
Especially in online sales as well, when everyone learns online sales just through content, right?
100%.
They're just watching YouTube, they just go through a course, and they're just watching all of this Instagram reels and stuff. So they just start copying everything that they see on the internet. All of the stuff that people talk about, it all works. But it works because it works for them.
Yeah.
And it suits their personality. So it's like, if you're like a super agreeable person, you're not going to try and like hard close someone, are you? You're not just going to be there handing in objections, fighting away, trying to make the close. Instead, you're going to focus more on building relationships. You're going to focus more on building that in-person connection. Whereas if you're like a super disagreeable person, your selling style has to be different.
Yeah.
It's going to be more of a formal call. It's going to be more structured, and you're going to be the one taking control of the conversation. It's all about learning how to sell in accordance to your personality.
Yeah, I like that. Like, the amount of dudes who go in with like the Andy Elliott, like, we'll give you a details. We'll see if that sounds fair. Or like the what's the other one that he always says, like, I haven't given you enough information to make a decision, or whatever he says. But I like that kind of personal touch to it. I think it's important. Especially like, sorry, I'll
Go on. Yeah, go on, bro.
But what you guys were saying about like copying and pasting what other people are doing, I like the messaging that you guys send out with alpha setters. Like, you can tell straight away that it's different. Like, capping the coaching program instantly just shows that it's not about the money. And
Who does that?
Bro, I know one other person who does that, and he's one of my clients, and he's one of the best guys I've ever met. He's a really good guy. Yeah, he's a super sick guy. But talk to me a little bit about, in fact, you say what you were going to say.
I was just going to say, like, with sales, a lot of people coming into appointments and coming into closing, they try and look for a set script. They look for a specific message, or they look for a specific set of questions you need to ask someone. But no two sales should look the same. And that's the thing that I realized when I actually started getting good at sales, was like, oh, I don't need this cheat sheet for my closing calls. I don't need a cheat sheet of specific questions to ask. I'm just going to flow. I'm just going to flow off what the conversation needs and what the conversation's, where it's going and kind of what questions to ask. And Sim was saying, yeah, there's a good framework to have in terms of like what questions to say. But if this question's not asked, it doesn't need to be asked. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's like, doesn't have to be the same. Whereas a lot of people think that with sales, because appointments, you need to qualify, you need to do this, everything needs to be the same, which it definitely doesn't.
Yeah.
One thing that we do when we're training people to handle objections, you know, you can go on the internet right now and type in on YouTube how to handle, I need to think about it, I need to handle this objection, and just write that down and try and copy and paste that. But again, it's about finding how to handle these objections in accordance to your personality. So one thing that we do in Alpha Setters when we're training people to handle objections, I actually took this from door-to-door sales. It's what we used to do in the office every single day.
Yeah.
Is we'll have a call and we'll like have an objection handled in workshop. And what we'll do is we'll just think of the most like outrageous objections known to man. Like, okay, David, I don't want to buy your product. It sounds great, but I don't really feel comfortable working with a black guy. We'll say the most outrageous objections so that we can just develop that skill of just improvisation and just saying what comes natural to you. We'll give each other feedback, but not based on what I would say personally, but what I think you should say based on what I know about you and your personality. And I think that's the main thing when it comes to sales. There's no cheat sheet. There's no one script fits all. It's literally just about unlocking that part of your brain where you're just a free thinker.
Yeah.
I always say that sales is the path of the free man. There's so many levels to that. I think sales gives you freedom because obviously you take your income into your own hands because it's commissions. How hard do you work? How badly do you want it? That's how much money you're going to make. But also, because what sales has done for me is it's actually opened my brain to the point where I can just talk. I'm like the world's leading expert at just talking shit on the spot. But that's just sales. That's what sales has done for me because now I can just improvise in any situation. Give me any objection, I'll find a way to handle it.
Yeah.
Not because this is how I know, this is how I've learned to handle the objection. Just because I'm just talking. I'm just literally just speaking my mind, whatever comes to mind.
Yeah.
So how do you kind of like, how do you teach that? Like within Alpha Setters, how do you teach people to be a free thinker? Because most people, when they come in a course, they just want modules. They want to be like, right, this objection, this objection. How do you go about teaching people at scale to think and sell like that?
I think it's hard to teach people at scale, definitely, because you can't just give someone a course and teach someone sales. That doesn't work at all. I would say in Alpha Setters, the most valuable part of Alpha Setters is just the implementation. I can teach you the information, but it's the implementation that's always the difficult part. So doing those calls, doing those like meetups that we do, instead of just having some online community where no one actually meets each other, I think actually getting together and being able to practice face to face actually is just so even for something like appointment setting, even though we're sending DMs, having those in-person sessions where we're training them workshop, like an hour-long conversation where we're just role-playing.
Yeah.
I think that's going to teach you way more than just watching course modules.
It's like the main thing kind of is just putting the hours in and actually practicing it when it comes down to it.
We see a clear correlation of the people that do really, really well with appointment setting and alpha setters that actually ask us questions, come to the group calls, be interactive in the link ups. Because you learn most when you're actually speaking and having these in real life conversations. Like Temi said, you can't replicate direct sales and in real life sales. So the closest thing we can do to that is actually having human conversations where we can actually give you feedback essentially, rather than just giving you some videos, write down some notes, because that's not the way sales works.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, bro, when people come in like coaching programs and stuff, I always feel like whenever I've been on like a coaching call or with a coach or whatever, I feel rude because I'm asking so many questions. It seems like everyone else is just being quiet. But I don't understand why people don't want to get as much as they can out of every call. Like, is that not what you paid for? You know what I mean?
Yeah, literally,
So,
bro. Literally.
Yeah, I think I agree with that because every coaching program I've ever been in, the people who are the most active, the people who ask the most questions, the people who implement the answers quickly are the ones who get the best results. It's like the people who sit there with their fucking website built and they're like, yeah, I'm going to start doing outreach tomorrow. Like, tomorrow.
Bro, when we had a link up on Sunday, so we did a mastermind. They went for steaks, did some boxing, and it's like everyone was there, was super dialed up. This week, I'm sure of it. Those guys will be smashing it. Those guys will be like super dialed in, super locked in, and super like kind of enthusiastic to do better because they've just been in an environment full of like 13, 15 guys that all want it. And who wants it the most? And that's kind of like a little competitive culture that we've got in Alpha Setters, that you come to these link ups, you see everybody working hard. It's hard not to fall into that.
So speaking of competitive culture, you run Alpha Setters with your brother. you're a semi-professional footballer, and you're at university in
Yeah.
Manchester, and you
Yeah.
also have a life as well.
Yeah, yeah.
How does one go about balancing all those things? Because some people alone, like I know some semi-pro footballers who all they seem to do is be a semi-pro footballer. I know
Yeah.
people who run online businesses who all they do is that. I know people at uni who all they do is that. But how do
Yeah.
you balance
Yeah.
all of that?
I think the main thing is that like people lie to themselves about how much time they've got. I always say you've got time to do the things you want to do. You can always make time, whereas an hour less sleep or whatever. So like I've got time to fit everything in. Yeah, I might put more focus into this one day, more focus into this, but essentially I can do all the things I want to do. I play football like 5 times a week or something. Like I do that whilst running an online business, going to uni as well. Like even for uni, like for me, I'm not someone that's like super grinding uni, like grinding when I get home. Like when we was in Thailand, I did an assignment, right? Obviously was in Thailand for a month and a half. Didn't go to any lectures or anything, and I got the highest grade in the whole year, doing the assignment in 2 days. It's like, and what does that tell you about uni? It's not like you need to grind it. I locked in for 2 days, did the assignment, bang. It's not like I need to spend so much time doing one thing. As long as I have specific times where I'm grinding towards one thing and focusing, then I can get everything done, essentially.
What was the decision to go to uni? Because at this point, like when you had have chosen to go to uni, you will have been making money online, wouldn't you? Were you still in the phase of like not really feeling like it's true, or
So
what you wanted to do?
So yeah, it was a couple of things. So I remember when I first went to uni, Temi, we sat down in the kitchen.
We had to sit down.
We had to sit down. We had to sit down in the kitchen. He went, so you're gonna go off to uni for 3 years and enjoy your life. I've got to in 3 years show you that making money, like how we're gonna make money, just so you don't fall into the 9-to-5 life. Do you remember that conversation? He was like, I've got 3 years to make a plan and make money to show you that 9-to-5 is not it. And like in the back of my head, I had 9-to-5 not what I wanted to do, but it was the kind of thing was like I didn't really know what else to do. Like I wasn't fully like for me it was like at that point I would have had to stay like working in River Island or whatever. What do you know? And that wasn't in my mind. It was also Manchester. I wanted to try play football in Manchester. I wanted to move out, and multiple things played into it. But it was kind of like I didn't know what else to do essentially. So and then I went to uni, and then pretty short after I went to uni, started making money online. It was like,
He didn't
yeah,
have a choice. He's like, he was just complaining all the time. Like, he's just this broke uni student. I'm like, bro, like, you've seen what I've been doing. Let me teach you how to do it. Like, you don't have a choice. You're doing this. Because before he went off to uni, in this sit down, he said he wanted to do business. Originally, his first choice was to do business at uni. And I was like, no fucking way. We ain't going to business to learn business from some professor at university who's never had a business. We're not doing that. So I was like, at least do something that might be beneficial to our business in the future. Because I told him, 3-year plan. By the time you finish uni, I've got everything patterned. The business is bulletproof now. No one can take it from us. I've set up a business and you're going to have a job patterned for when you finish uni so that you're not falling into this NPC lifestyle. So he changed his course to accounting because I was like, okay, that might be useful. That might be useful to have Yomi learning accounting because obviously we've got a business.
Yeah.
And then, literally just a few months after he went to uni, I was like, right, you're not telling me about how you broke. You know, I'm not listening to this anymore. I'm teaching you appointments now. You don't have a choice. You're doing it.
And it was kind of weird to be in uni, like making money online, like not having to worry about money, like pretty soon, because this was still first year, right? Everyone around me like broke. Like you should have seen my uni kitchen first year, like horror, bro. And like I was like fine, like in terms of like being able to just buy a steak or whatever. These guys like, have like hood meals, bro, like noodles and egg or something for dinner.
I
And
remember
I'm,
feeling, to be fair.
I can't believe that you do it while you're at uni. Like,
yeah.
You must just be living so good for a
I mean,
student.
bro, like now, I feel like I'm not even at uni now. Like I feel like my uni life is completely separate to my life. Like I feel like I don't indulge in any of like the societies or the uni nights. I feel like I don't see anything about that. I just go to my lectures, do my lecture, come home. It's like, especially because I don't live in like a uni place now. I just live in an apartment in town. It's like the uni side of things. It's like literally just a study and essentially at uni. So I feel like maybe first year I was a proper uni student in terms of I was going out every now and again. But now it's like I'm kind of like not in that life at all. I'm just studying.
Yeah.
Do you play football for the uni team?
Not anymore. I've recently just quit actually.
Literally
just quit. Like first 2 years I did, but I've just quit now because I don't know. I don't feel like I gain it. The main thing that excites people about the uni football is kind of the the societies and you looked as, if you play for uni football, you looked at as kind of like everyone looked up to you in terms of you on a night out, you get this private bit in the club or whatever.
Top of the uni.
It's up. But like, why do I care what these uni guys think of me? I don't care, and I don't really. Yeah. Obviously, I play football outside of uni, so I don't really need to do that.
It is interesting because like even though like we both dropped out and we started doing stuff, but I feel like it's a good example to have of. I feel like there's so many people, people who might be 18, just anyone in the age range of 18 to 21 who has that decision to make of, they're seeing all this stuff online. Like that's how we were.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's how you guys were. You see all the stuff online, but then it's like it's the red pill and the blue pill.
Yeah.
But you've proved that you can do both if you want.
I think for a lot of times I can relate to people. I feel like it helps that I can relate to our target audience for, B2C. So when someone's reaching out to me and they're a uni student, I'm like, yeah, I'm a uni student as well. So you can't give me the excuse that you don't have time. Yeah. How can you, I run this business, I go to uni, I play football. Like, what's your excuse? You don't have an excuse. So I can automatically rule out that objection for a start. But the fact that I can relate to people and they're like, oh, you're actually a normal guy. You go to uni. Like, you're not some, like I said, you're not some guy in Dubai and popping bottles. You're a normal guy. You're just grinding. Yeah. And it's like, that's what I try to replicate and show that other people, if you grind as well, this is a similar transition you can make. Because a lot of guys I know go to uni, but they don't want to do you don't want to do economics, they don't want to do banking, whatever. But what's alternative? Now I'm stuck in uni and doing this degree. It's like, I've invested this money. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, we've said this on so many podcasts, like more than I can even count, because we see so many young guys like you guys. And this conversation always comes up. But the thing is with uni is that on paper, it's an exchange of value, right? It's you give them money and in return they give you a qualification which is meant to help you make more money. But when you frame it like that, going and learning a skill is the same thing but just without the qualification, and you internalize it. Like I feel like that's on the surface level how you can make the online stuff make the most sense. Like if you learn this skill, it increases your earning potential in the same way that a degree is meant to increase your earning potential.
That's what they told me in door to door. Like the first day in the office, there was like, look, like this is door to door sales. Like we're gonna be going knocking on doors, pitching people, selling windows. But the main thing that you're gonna get out of this is the skill set, because no one's ever gonna be able to take that away from you.
Yeah,
I think I learned more in 1 year of doing door to door sales than I would have at uni. I mean, his first 2 years at uni, I mean, it just seems like they was just playing silly fuckers. I didn't even know what they was teaching him.
Like,
do you know what I mean? Where he's actually started to learn useful stuff.
I've had like a first in all my assignments or whatever, bro. I don't know anything about accounting and finance really. Obviously now I'm starting to learn about tax and stuff like that, but my first 2 years, what have I got to show for it? Oh, I know how to use Excel a bit more.
Yeah.
Well, like, I could have done a 30 minute.
GPT.
I could have done like an hour workshop on YouTube, watch a video and known exactly what I know now from 2 years at uni. So it's like, I think the degree side of things, going to uni wasn't really worth it up to this point. I mean, but I feel like I've developed as a person. I found myself. No, I'm joking. Yeah. Obviously, I'm not one of those guys that's going to say I found myself, but I think it has been beneficial in some ways.
So what you were saying about when you first got into door-to-door sales, they said to you, like, this is a skill that you're going to be able to go and take anywhere. How can someone, even if it's for an online business, someone in door-to-door, get the most out of working in an organization, whether it be online or in person?
I think everything's intention. Because like you can go through the motions every day, you can work hard every day, but if your intention behind it isn't to just get better and grow as a person, you're not truly going to get anything out of that. I know people that box 5 times a week, every single week, and they've been in it for years, and they're still shit. So it's like, it's the intention behind it.
100%.
If your mindset is like truly like you're obsessed with just becoming the best version of yourself possible, then I think you'll take so much away than if you're just casually doing it, just trying to make a little bit of peas as a side hustle.
Yeah.
I say it to my guys all the time. You just got to be in sales. It will give you everything you want. It will give you the skills. It's a very straightforward path to making all the money you want. Yeah. It's simple. All you've got to do is just get better at the skill and land bigger roles. That's all you've got to do to make more money in sales. But the difference behind the people that just kind of get stuck at a couple £100 a week, blah, 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 and the people that just fly and do massive things like Jordan is all the intention behind it, because they become obsessed mentally on just becoming the best version possible.
Yeah.
We have like 60,000 thoughts a day. If you're truly obsessed with something, those 60,000 thoughts are not just going to be like, oh, yeah, no, what am I going to do this weekend? Oh, yeah, what's this girl saying? Might link her later, blah, blah, blah. If you're truly obsessed with something, all your thoughts are just about, how can I get better at this? Oh, that conversation I had yesterday. Oh, I'm an idiot. I should have said this. The amount of times I'm just awake at night and I just think, oh, fuck, I should have said this to him on the closing call earlier or whatever. And that's what it means to be obsessed. And when you're that obsessed with something, it's just inevitable that you're just going to become a stud.
I feel like people, especially like the people, let's say you're working on an offer or you're working for a business owner. Business owners and offer owners, they recognize when someone is really going the extra mile, and you don't know what door that can open up for you. Like I've worked with like 12 different businesses, and only 3 of them have ever come from outreach, because the rest have come from word of mouth, because I make sure that for all the business owners I work with, like 11:30 at night, they text me something he's doing for tomorrow, I'm doing it. Like whatever they need doing, I always go the extra mile, because I know the opportunities that it will open the door for me later on. And like people, they love that intention. Like there's nothing better than working with people who you know are competent and they are going to get the job done. And I feel like there's not enough of that. It's like what you guys were saying on a clip. Appointment setting, like people say, like, oh, it's saturated and whatever. It's not. There's just not that many people who actually put the intention behind it, and that many people that are good at it.
Yeah. The good appointment setters are sought after. Like they'll
100%.
have...
Bro,
It's a super high in demand.
I say one thing that separates a average appointment setter from a good appointment setter is doing the extras. You know, saying to your client, "Oh, the VSL needs tweaking," or "And you need to add this to your funnel system." Things that you're going out your way that you don't necessarily need to do as an appointment setter, because you're just setting on the Instagram or whatever. But they're going to recognize that. And if you're someone's right hand top appointment setter, they're going to take you to the top with them, or you're going to get on another deal where you're going to have higher earning potential. So doing the extra bit as an appointment setter is so valuable. And I feel like people miss out on those things because they're just interested in making the money now. But you got to see the further picture.
And the appointment setters, like, let's say leads are coming through, they're the first people who speak to the leads. So if the messaging is off or the funnel is off and these guys are taking calls of prospects that aren't qualified, they're the first people to know it. And like you were saying, if you go and you put that intention behind it and you communicate with marketing or you tell the offer owner, they're going to appreciate that. You're not just turning up and taking the calls or answering your DMs or whatever. You're actually trying to better the business, and people will recognize that.
Every time we build a sales team for a company, one thing that we always make very, very clear to the appointment setters is that you have to be on top of your data. Now, in appointment setting, in sales in general, like there's this like grind mentality. But to me, the grind mentality, just doing pure volume is only going to get you so far. It's the extra stuff like tracking your data to the point where you know like exactly where are all your leads falling off in the pipeline. Like what's the biggest area along the pipeline that people need to improve at? Are people dropping off when you try and qualify them? Are they dropping off when you send them a case study or a VSL? Are people just dropping off when you send them the calendar link? If you've got that data there and you can present that to your client, be like, look, I've analyzed the data and like we've got a weak point here. Like how can we work together and fix this? Because I want to make more money and I want you to make more money because that's going to make me more money. How impressive is that to a business owner?
It goes back to kind of building those relationships, doesn't it? And just going that extra mile with your clients. I think another thing that I wanted to touch on actually was, obviously you boys are both young, successful. How important do you find in terms of like the balance between generating wealth and also generating memories? Because I've seen like a lot of people speak about it, and it's usually very far to either one side or the other. And it's quite good hearing it from somebody who's kind of in the process, in the depths of it right now. Because me and him spoke about it in the last pod, and we were just kind of like, our work-life balance is fucking non-existent at the moment.
I hear that.
I think that's you. Like, I think that's you in a nutshell. I feel like when we went to Thailand, I think that was kind of like peak time where we had the perfect balance of grinding, like, you know, was working, boxing, but also loving life. Like, was on a beach, jumping off like waterfalls or whatever, like enjoying life. And I think if you have that with your boys, I think to a certain extent, you know, if you're just going out boozing, like getting smashed, and like that's not valuable. But if you're actually making memories and grinding with the boys that you want to grow with, that's going to make the business better. Like if we're enjoying ourselves together, we're going to, you know, even on a like if we're watching UFC or something, we might have an idea like, oh shit, why don't we do this for the biz? Do you know what I mean?
I think it depends who you're with, right?
Yeah, 100%.
I think seasons. Like, now I don't know how long you've been following me for, but last year, obviously, I started Alpha Setters from zero. January the 1st is when I launched Alpha Setters. Last year, I was just like super social and just locked in, no memories. It was non-existent. I had six boxing fights in a 14-month period, and I built my business from 0 to 20K a month. And throughout the period, there was no work-life balance. I didn't go on a single date with a girl, wasn't talking to any girls, didn't go on any dates. We had 2 holidays, which was like our rest period, 2 just holidays. But apart from that, I was just locked in. The start of this year, I was like, okay, I was locked in last year. We've made loads of progress. Let me live life for a little bit. Still working, obviously. But the work-life balance, like you could see with the business started to like, the revenue was going down a little bit. because I was traveling. I went to like 7 different countries
Yeah.
and I was living life. But seasons, like I said, because now I'm in another season where it's just work.
Yeah.
I've got no plans on even leaving the UK for like the next 6 months because I'm just locked in.
Do you think that's kind of person to person as well, and kind of like finding that sweet spot, whether it be seasons or for some people it might be kind of 50-50 with a bit of both, or do you think it is just straight work, rest, work? Because I know this is kind of a different thing for everyone as well.
Depends on the person.
Yeah.
Yeah, truly. Like I think everything that you do in life, like every decision that you make on a day-to-day basis shouldn't be copying what works for someone else.
100%.
It's just finding what works for you. Like I know for a fact that I'm the most productive when I'm 100% obsessed with something for a short period of time.
Yeah.
To the point where every hour I'm awake, I'm living and breathing the mission. And then just having that time to just get away, recharge, relax, create some memories. Well, I don't really have to think about growth that much. Just seasons of growth and then chill. For
Yeah.
some people, they might just be able to just be balanced, just live a balanced life. I'm not balanced at all.
Yeah, bro, I don't know.
balanced
Do you know
life.
like the freelancers that go and like work from their fucking laptops in like Bali and stuff
Yeah.
like, and like they're comfy on like 5-10K a month. Like costs are cheap out there. They're just chilling, doing whatever they're doing. But like I don't know how. Like I feel when I'm not growing that I'm dying. Like, and you guys probably feel like that, and you're like, yo, like, especially when you're doing our kind of work. Like if you're not placing reps in teams, you don't make any money. You know what I mean? If you're not promoting alpha sets, you don't make any money. It's like you can't just chill. Like, and I think the seasons thing as well. Like, if you look at seasons in like a 2-year period, for example, right? You can say you were imbalanced in a 2-year period, but if you look at it over a 10-year period, if you've been doing this since you were 18, 19, you have your 5 years now or whatever. Who knows where you're going to be in another 3 years? You know what I mean? You might get your balance then, but it's that thing about looking at it on a longer time frame. I think Hormozy says that as well.
Depends on your goals. So I always tell my appointment setters, like, what is your 10-year goal? Like, what are you fighting for here? Why are we doing this? Like, do you just want to be making 2K a month and go live like a king in Thailand?
Yeah.
Cool. If so, cool. But there's some people that are just hyper ambitious, right? Like you two, like you said, you've got no work-life balance at the moment, and you almost feel depressed when you're not making progress. And I feel that as well.
Yeah, 100%.
Because I don't want to just be stuck at 20K a month. I mean, to me, it's always you need to be getting better. It's not even about the money. It's just about some
Getting
people
better.
are just built different. They just super ambitious and they want
Yeah.
to go far. For people like us, people that are super ambitious, we almost get our fulfillment, our joy out of life from making progress towards a goal.
Yeah,
That's what makes us happy.
Yeah, I always say like to some people coming in, like I don't know how you measure your progression, I don't know how you measure your success. But one thing I do, I'm not super materialistic. I don't care about having like a super flashy car. It's more about just did I do better than last month? Did I make more sales than last month? Did I close more deals than last month? Do you know what I'm saying? So it's more about the progression rather than the actual figure on the dashboard.
Yeah.
Especially on
100%.
Stripe when like you can literally see
Oh, bro.
Like,
I
you don't
hate
want it to be getting down. You want it to be getting up.
I hate that. But then you do also have months where, like, so for example, like, I had a month where I had my best month ever, and the next month I was like, right, I need to start hiring people. I need to start building some other stuff out, and took a dip there. But I know that it's almost like it's like the market graphs, isn't it? Where you got to have a bit of drawback before you go up. And I feel like even balancing that dip, you've got to be like, right, okay, we're building, we're putting some infrastructure in place to go like that next month.
Even the times when I've sort of like let my foot off a little bit to like the start of this year when I was just traveling there. I went to Thailand, Switzerland. I've been like everywhere this year. And even though that was like a period where it's like the revenue dropped a little bit, it didn't feel as productive. Actually, I think on a long enough time frame, that was productive just through network. Network's a big thing. I mean, you guys are big on that. I was never big on networking. I always thought it was.
Well, we like the reason we started this when we first dropped out of uni, we were like, right, if we have a network and we learn a skill, then we're calm. Like as long as we know people and we have something to do, like that is our bread and butter. And like the people that we've met through this, like some of them become clients, they've referred us to people, like, and we've never done one virtually because we're like, you want to sit down with people, you want to meet them, shake their hand, chat to them, see what they're saying, you know what I mean, build that relationship with people properly. And I feel like that's good with what you guys do with Alpha Zs as well, because you don't just keep it online. I feel like it can be very difficult to really grow a proper community just online. Like you want to meet people, you know.
The guys are so impressed when we like do a link up. Like the other day, literally everyone was like, "Oh, bro, that was so sick. It's so good to meet you guys." Because you get a different vibe when you meet someone in real life.
Yeah,
kind of someone's so different from just seeing them on camera, even if it's the way they look or the way they talk, the confidence they have. Meeting someone in real life and them seeing how people have progressed around them or how good we're doing, it motivates them. It's a different type of motivation to me going on call. Come on, bro, come on. It's different when you're in real life and you can be like, okay, bro, this is what we need to do.
Especially with like an online community, you're probably only ever speaking to someone about work. Like if you ever call someone, the call is for a purpose, or the text is for a purpose. You never just get to sit down with people and just have a chat. You know what I mean? Learn more about them, learn where they've come from, learn what makes them tick, learn what's going on in their life. Like you get to build that proper relationship with them.
Yeah.
I'll hold it till I die. There's no better than just literally going up to someone, shaking their hand and talking to them. I think that just that kind of thing just beats everything. Like we're doing here.
There's one thing that's better that I can tell you for a fact, which is beating each other up.
I knew you were gonna say that.
That's one thing that we all need to do, to be fair, don't we?
We do all need to do that. But
With guys, like the relationship you build after just beating each other up for 30 minutes is like, you know, you're boys for life after that.
I think we've probably done it one time about 5 years ago or something.
year 11, bro.
Yeah,
before COVID. But on the topic of alpha setters, you guys, I kind of touched on it earlier, but you've capped the coaching program at 300 people. Why 300 and why cap it in the first place? Where did that decision come from?
So, have you seen the film, The Spartans, the 300?
I've seen the clip of him booting the dude down the well.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Well, in alpha setters, this is, of course, it's a men-only program. I only train men. The reason it's a men-only program is because when I was in door-to-door sales, it was just such a boisterous environment. And the fact that it was almost like super toxic to the point where we're literally like, if someone has a bad day, we're just shitting on them. Or that they're the laugh of the day. Like, we're just shitting on them in the car. That environment, I think, pushed me so far in sales. I was such like a sneaky guy. Like me and Yomi, we both grew up in a fatherless household, single parent household. That sort of like boisterous, like masculine environment pushed me so far. So we've emulated that in alpha setters. And the reason I decided to cap it at 300 is because one, we talk about the Spartans all the time, and that's what we're like. We're like the online Spartans. So 300 made sense. We wanted to cap it, but 300 specifically. That's because of the Spartans. We wanted to cap it because at the end of the day, there's so many coaching programs on the market where it's like their results are just not great. They'll have like a couple of guys that crush it, but they've got so much volume that half of the guys in there, like the coach probably doesn't even know their name.
Yeah.
For us, because alpha setters has never been like a monetary thing. Like we actually just started the coaching program just to support the agency, because the big money is B2B, doing your business with solve rich people problems, because that's where the big money is anyway. I've got no need for 1,000 appointment setters. I just need a handful of killers that I know are going to fight for me, and I know they'll do a great job for my clients. If I've got 1,000 guys, I can't put my focus in. I can't train 1,000 guys. Like,
it's true that, especially what you're saying about your clients, like you placing them in their business. It doesn't matter who the setters are. It's basically, it reflects on you. If they go in and do a bad job, he's not going to care about the two guys you've introduced him to. He's going to care about you and your reputation. So I like that.
Like one of the things we can get people such good results is because we can actually follow their journey. And we can go on a week-to-week basis if they're doing the group calls. Okay, this is who you're working with. This is what you're doing. This is what you need to improve on. If there's 1,000 guys in the group, that's simply impossible with just 2 of us. And I feel like I hate those programs where it's like, oh, there's a coach here, and you never actually get to speak to the guy that's actually running the program. They get value out of seeing us, speaking to us, and actually being like, oh, well, this is, you're not super distant from me. You're not super far away. I can get in touch with you if I need to get in touch with you.
Do you guys tend to allocate a lot of time then speaking to people individually within like the alpha setters?
Every single guy that joins alpha setters, it's not just a course. It's not just a group coaching program. Like it's almost like I've got 1 million individual coaching clients, because we have a group chat with every single guy, me, Yomi, and the student, so that we can give every single person our time and attention with whatever they need. Okay, send me a 5-minute voice note, and cool, I'll break it down for you. I'll make a Loom video. Oh, do you want to jump on a call? We'll talk about it. The group calls. Everyone's got different schedules. In the group calls, there'll be maybe 10 to 15 guys there. Go around to every single person and ask, like, okay, how are you getting on? Is there anything that you're struggling with right now? How can I support you to make sure that you're doing a great job?
Joe, being in that kind of like boisterous environment and that, then have you had anybody like within the group that can't really hack it or anything, or that I've spoke to you about that, and how do you kind of deal with them situations?
So like how I am, like I'm just like so unfiltered all the time, especially with my students. Like there's almost got to be a disclaimer at this point, like you know what you're signing up for. So we've recently moved all of our student communications over to Discord.
Right, yeah.
School is just a bit mad.
It's
The DMs
dead,
on
bro.
there, it's a bit mad.
Yeah, yeah. It's probably quite filtered on school as well to a certain degree, is it?
We do it on Discord now, and we've got like a little channel for every single student.
Yeah.
And one really funny thing about Discord is like if someone's like playing video games or something, it'll literally say like so and so's been playing
Oh shit! Yeah.
Call of Duty for
Yeah.
3 hours. I will publicly shame you. I will publicly like, yo, it's Monday. Like, why the fuck have you been playing Call of Duty for 2 hours, bro? Like, what we did?
Oh, I
I'll
forgot
publicly
you could
shame
see
you
all
for
that
it.
stuff. Yeah.
Is
yeah,
there
yeah.
people that like couldn't hack it? Like, of course there is.
Yeah.
Like
100%.
where people where it's like you'll love us or you'll hate us.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? You might get offended.
Yeah, even that time in with me and the podcast we did in Manchester.
Oh right, yeah, yeah. Even with our content, like obviously there's loads of people that just like absolutely hate our guts. Just because
Do you get a lot of DMs and all that
Well-
kind of stuff as well? Then people.
well, I
hating on the
say like
content and
even
that?
on this podcast, I've probably said like a couple of times in a situation where I probably shouldn't have said, and sometimes yeah, I get haters, but that's fine by me. I don't care.
Yeah, that's fair
because
enough.
yeah, I just stand on my values, and everyone in alpha setters, like the alpha setters that stick around for longer than a week, it's like they're there because they like it. They like the culture. They like that I will tell them to their face, like, okay, like what the fuck you doing, bro? I'll keep them accountable. Because
Yeah.
I think some people need that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
And
To a
the-
degree, it don't matter. Sorry, I cut you off there, but
Sorry, bro.
to a degree, it don't really matter if they can't hack it because it's for you guys anyway, and then
Yeah.
it's obviously not right for them in the first place. I
Exactly,
guess.
bro. And the people that are reaching out to us actually like us. Essentially, they're watching our content, they're seeing us.
Yeah.
So they're normally people that we can kind of resonate with in terms
Yeah.
of they do similar things, martial arts or the football. They're into the gym. So it's normally that I'm speaking to people that are pretty similar to us in terms of someone you'd like to chill with. So that's kind of why the Alphasetters work so well. Like we've literally got groups in Alphasetters where they've become boys and they've started a business together, or like individual groups where they'll literally go to a cafe and start working together.
Got
Which
loads of
we hadn't
friends
even
that
organised
vibe
that.
about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's good, man. I mean, you kind of forget that, like, I mean, you two, you've always had a brother, even though you might not have spoken as much when you were younger. But I bet some of the dudes in Alpha Setters will live in a village in Shropshire or some shit in a house, and you know they've not got anyone like that around them. I mean, we live in a big city in Sheffield,
Yeah.
and we know everyone in Sheffield who is doing something similar to what we do. And like some of these guys will literally be in a house in the middle of nowhere, and to have that kind of camaraderie, and even if it's online, it probably makes a massive difference to them.
Yeah.
So we had this one guy that joined. So like, well, we had two Irish guys, and they live in like a remote part of Ireland, like all the way up.
All
the
of
west.
Ireland.
Yeah.
They live in like super like random ends in Ireland.
Yeah.
And they both live near each other, and they joined on the same day. So as soon as those two joined, I was like, look, you two are competition now. So whenever one of them signed his first client, we added the other guy, Killian, in the group chat, like, at Killian, catch up, bro. Right. And then Killian caught up, signed his first client, and made his first commission before the other guy.
Yeah, yeah.
And then we're atting the other guy, like, bro, he's just made his first commission. What you gonna do? But you gonna take that, bro? And this guy is called Killian. He's a G, 6'3", black Irish guy. And every time we do a meetup, he books a plane ticket, he books a flight, and comes to England every single time we do a meetup. And he was like, look, in Ireland, I don't know anyone that's on my brainwave. I don't know
Yeah.
anyone that's ambitious like this. And he literally just decided, you know what, I want to move to England. So through one of my connections that he met at one of our meetups, Ron Mahiko, big guy in direct sales. You should get him on the podcast, actually.
Yeah,
Great
put
guy.
us in touch.
Yeah. He met him. He's one of my very good friends. He called him, like, look, like, you know, I met you at this Alpha Set event a few months ago. I want to move to England. Is there any way that you can help me get like a role in direct sales? This is 2 weeks ago. He came to Nottingham. I had this phone call. 2 weeks later, so we've just done our mastermind in Birmingham. He got a flight from Ireland, bought his suitcase. He just moved to Liverpool. 2 weeks notice. He's just moved to Liverpool and got a job in direct sales.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
mad.
yeah, that's
that's
insane.
actually, that's actually
Insane.
mad, bro. So, you know, this is what's going on at the moment with Alpha Setters, but where do you see it going? Obviously, you were talking about 10-year, 5-year plan. What's the goal with it all?
So Alpha Setters, like my vision for Alpha Setters is for us to just be like the leading experts in the UK when it comes to high ticket sales. Now, I see myself in 10 years, not just as like a high ticket sales guy. I want to be like one of like the big names when it comes to sales. You know, the Roll Mahikos, the Jordan Rassasses, the Grant Cardones of the world. I want to be like a leading expert in sales.
Yeah.
So one thing that I'm doing, which everyone thinks I'm crazy, to be honest, I'm moving to London for 3 months in January. I'm going back into door-to-door sales. I'm actually getting a door-to-door sales job myself. I've got an online business. Why the fuck would you go and get a door-to-door sales job? What's wrong with you? I know that will short term. That's going to be long. Winter, knocking doors again myself when I don't need to be doing this. Like I'm comfy. I'm making like money from my phone. But I'm going back into direct sales to knock doors for 3 months to build that skill set again.
Yeah.
And I'm actually going to start my own door-to-door sales office next year in Nottingham.
Cool.
So
What's the offer? What or is that disclosed information?
I'm not going to tell you the company that we're selling for.
Yeah.
We're going to be selling for, but it's going to be a very like big UK company that maybe you can put some things together. But I'm going to be selling gas and electricity door to door.
I see.
Might have to get you back on the pod then in like in a year's time or something when you've done your door-to-door sales. and it's all back
You've
up.
got to document that.
Do you know what it is?
Gotta
Do you know what it
document
is? It's like for me, whenever I speak to someone that's in direct sales or in corporate sales, or someone that's actually just doing in real life like a proper sales job, not this online high ticket space. Super sick guys, always
Yeah,
super sick
100%.
guys, like super cool to speak to, and they're just chilling, and I always like resonate with those people the most. So I was like, why not just I always speak to him after I've had a call with someone like that. I'm like, bro, these guys are sick. Like, we need to get into actual sales, direct sales, corporate sales, or something like that. And yeah, so
Bro,
it's-
you've got to speak to Jordan. You've got to speak to Jordan.
Ah, he's my mentor. I've been mentored by him.
I was gonna
love
say,
it.
like the stories he tells us about just like driving up and down the M1 to meetings all over the country, and grabbing a Mackies and stuff and like. But he's in the field, you know.
Yeah,
what I mean?
and I know.
Trenches.
He's one of my biggest, like, Raul Mexico and Jordan Rassats are, like, my biggest, like, inspirations, like, the biggest people that I look up to. Because they're
Yeah.
not in this high-ticket space. They're in the in-person direct sales. And they're just such studs. When you sit down and speak to them, it just blows your mind. They'll be talking for 10 minutes. And it just blows your mind the way that they think. In high-ticket sales, it's like you can hide behind a screen. You can hide behind your phone. Everyone can be, like, this cool guy on Instagram. But when you meet them, it's like they don't even make eye contact. I don't want to be that guy. I want to be
Yeah.
a guy where I'm truly a G when it comes to sales, not just some guy just playing this silly game of like internet money.
Yeah,
because that is
it's a
internet money.
stepping stone, dude. It's a stepping stone. Like it's a cash flow business. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or, doing sales and stuff. It's cash flow. You earn your commissions and stuff, but you don't want to be fucking. You don't want to be 36, 37 jumping on Zoom calls with 18-year-olds selling something B2C. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Do you have to have that plan? Is your plan kind of similar to his?
Yeah,
or-
so I want to jump in. Like I said, I always said to him, like literally a couple of months ago, I was like, bro, I need to start selling big boy deals. Like I was like, yo, you know what? Making these closes for a couple of K, yeah, it's cool, but I need to start, being a corporate business where I'm talking about 500K contracts. So, the first step to that is actually getting some actual sales experience, like direct sales experience. So yeah, I'm going to jump in the field as well.
Mad.
And you see Jordan, 2 billion closed sales. You see guys online where it's like, oh, I've done 1 million in revenue for clients, and that's a flex.
Yeah.
It's like, bro, you don't understand the levels to the game.
Yeah,
That's why I love
100%.
sales, is because there's so many levels. So
So-
that's why going back into the field, it makes sense for me, because short term, it's going to be long. But long term, that's just going to be so good for my credibility.
Yeah.
I'm building sales teams. I've just built the #1 office in door-to-door sales.
You got to go back to the trenches sometimes, don't you?
Yeah, of course.
So aside from kind of growing the business side for both of you, is there any personal goals that you've kind of got planned ahead or want to achieve? Obviously, they contribute massively with like your sports, your boxing and football. So yeah, just for both of you, I guess.
So big goal for me, of course, is finding a feminine wife. And having
I
bare
knew
kids.
that was coming. I knew that was coming.
I want bare kids. Again, I think this is why I resonate with Jordan so much, because he lives in a cottage in the middle of nowhere. Got bare kids, always like just jumping in lakes and stuff.
Yeah.
That's my vision for the future. I don't want to live in some big city like this, Lambo and Dubai lifestyle. I literally just want to live in the countryside, have bare kids, just build a clan. That's what I want.
Yeah, it's the thing about the UK.
Yeah,
I was up in
100%.
Scotland this weekend, and like the drive past like Manchester to all the way up in Scotland, like bro, it's just beautiful.
It's
You
just such a
bro,
beautiful
you see
country,
these
man.
houses, like bro, in Scotland there was full castles on the top of the hill, and like I'd Google it while I was going past, and bro, people live there.
Yeah,
like
facts.
someone lives in the castle on there, massive like, turrets and everything. Like, bro, that is what I want. You know what I mean? Locked away. Like we saw Ed Sheeran's house, right? This massive lake in Scotland, like hills everywhere. Right on the top of the hill, there's this little chalet. And the host who we were staying with at the Airbnb said, that's Ed Sheeran's house. Never find him. It's like, Jordan,
Yeah.
never find him.
That's what I want, man. That's
Yeah.
that's part of the goal for me. It's like short term, I'm gonna go live in London for 3 months, and then I'm gonna go conquer Nottingham. But long term, just want to go, nice little peaceful detached house in the countryside,
Yeah, man.
bare kids, alpha setter barbecues where like all of my alpha setters
Yeah.
bring the kids. You know, I'm sure we're gonna end up doing some barbecue jiu-jitsu where we're just gonna be fighting on the floor or something. It's just gonna be sick. That's my vision that I'm building towards. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Sounds.
Yeah, I mean, for me, like, obviously with sport, like, I love playing football. I played football since I was young. So for me, it was like when I was younger, I really, really wanted to be pro. That was all I cared about. For now, it's like I just enjoy playing football. So obviously, I want to try and play it at the best level possible. But like, it's not like I'm like on the grind to road to pro or whatever. It's like just improving myself and like playing at the best level possible. Like Temi said, intention. So my intention is to get better and play better, essentially. In terms of like living loads of kids. I mean, I've got a girlfriend now, so. You know, whenever we have kids, but I don't know. I've not.
Need to start pumping them out, bro.
I've not. I've not got on the. I'm not on the agenda of having bare kids at the moment. So I'm not too sure in terms of location or anything, but in terms of just growing myself. I love traveling. After being in Thailand, I want to travel the world and like see more countries and go to places I would never think I'd go.
Do you know what I was going to say? How do you think it's benefited you having Temi as your older brother?
In like, because if I didn't know Temi, if we was never brothers, right? If we was never brothers, I might have not been in the online space now. It might have been 10 years. I might never got into online space. I might have never got into sales. Like, who knows what the route would be? So it's good having someone to, one, look up to in terms of, you know, starting this journey, and two, having kind of someone to just bounce ideas off, and just having a brother was like, you know, if we fall out, which we haven't fallen out in years. Like I said, back when we was younger, we used to like physical fights on a regular, like big tension fights. So
we used to scrap.
Serious.
It's the kind of age gap where, like at school, you could be like,
enemies.
My older brother's gonna batter you.
Oh no, it wasn't
even
that.
like that.
Just
It wasn't that.
We was just ops.
It wasn't that. But I had a fight with someone in his year. He was probably rooting for the other guy. Probably rooting for the other guy. But yeah, no, it's good to just have like someone where it's like, whatever happens, like the bond's gonna be there. Whether business fails or crumbles, whatever, we're always gonna be brothers and have that way forward.
Yeah, dude, boys, it's been a pleasure to have you
it's been a
guys
good
on. Like, it's
episode.
so nice to see, you know, two brothers sat next to each other building together. It's something that we've not had on the podcast before, and we really appreciate you coming on.
Enjoyed it, man.
Yeah, man. Thanks for inviting us, bro.
Boys. Right, thank you. Cheers.